Ashley, you are here. I know my guy is hanging out in the background somewhere. Can you
No,
hear
I'm
me?
here. I'm here.
Yes,
So move my Hollywood Square to up to talking now,
you're
right?
in. You're in. I think I have it set so it just boom highlights. Dude, so we met for the first time in Puerto Rico a year ago.
That's right.
And I have a funny
In
story about
person.
that. Yes, in person. And I have a funny story about that I'll share later. But we're doing something really unique this time around. I kind of highlighted it a couple minutes ago, right? Where we've got day one presentations, we got day two bus tour, and we got day three, which is this really different type of format, but it's something that you've been doing for since you started OZ Pros, right? It's this engaging strategy type dialogue, and we wanted to mimic that in real life so that the audience, the participants, could see how this works and could get inspired, right? By having a live one Q&A with a panel, like with Grant Thornton, with Patrick, with Paul, the crew from our compliance zone, but also that we do this hot seat thing. And so I'm just stoked. I mean, dude, you're making your own investments in Puerto Rico. Maybe just talk a little bit about what you're doing down there. And I mean, you've done what, 1,000 strategy calls, set up however many funds. Just give us an overview of who you are, what you do, and we got a couple
Yeah,
minutes.
absolutely. So I'm an attorney. I like to call myself a reformed attorney. I try to practice law as little as possible, but I keep falling off the wagon, getting sucked back into deals. And anyhow, it's been a great run in the opportunity zone world. I found out about it in 2018 and have been doing literally nothing but opportunity zones ever since, and married up perfectly that, with Puerto Rico being 98% opportunity zone. So I was actually down there for my anniversary, and this was last year. This is my 9th anniversary, and I had a strategy call with Catherine Morea. And so we had grabbed coffee at the Fairmont. And while we're there, she was like, hey, there's a guy that's just as tall as you. And he played professional basketball in Europe, just like you did. And I was like, no way. I was like, there's no way there's somebody like that in Puerto Rico. And so she introduced me to Robbie Krager. And then since that time, we've gotten to know Robbie and Dave, and we've put together a great team down there. And Robbie's put together a great team. We raised the funds relative to kind of our own personal capital between Jimmy Atkinson and myself and some other folks. Jimmy's the host of the Opportunity Zones podcast. And we decided that we wanted to make one of our investments into Robbie's deals down there in Puerto Rico. And we've put together a team around Robbie to really make those, hotel investments happen. So we're excited about I think we've got 5 that we're doing right now, with probably another 5 in the pipeline. And are super stoked about what those are going to ultimately be able to do for Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So also looking forward to, what we do in doing what we do for my day job, right? So that's kind of my investing sideline, right? And helping those guys do that project, and then, helping them be able to kind of bring that project to life and raise money inside of it. That's what we do for other funds inside of OZ Pros. We set them up, but then we also go through the compliance to make sure that they got their audit trail dialed. And that's what we're going to do on the 3rd day in our presentation, is that we're going to make sure that we run through like all of the things that you should be thinking about that you might not be thinking about inside of your deal, especially if you're an opportunity zone fund or if you're raising money or thinking about raising money.
Yeah. So the thing that we're going to do, right, is we took this sort of page out of these personal development conferences, and we said, all right, we're going to put everybody's name who wants to potentially have this experience into a hat on the bus, and then we'll pull it out the next day, and that person is going to be the person, right, that ultimately gets to go on stage and be supported and nurtured. It's not like to destroy someone, right? It's actually to help use an example, a real life example, and have Ashley there to and other experts, obviously, to be in the room and see where we can take your journey.
And it's funny is that, so one of the things that I always say as well, and this is going to be a hugely interactive process. So we do this thing called the Compliance Bootcamp, which is a weekly call, and then inside of Osworks Group, we have the monthly compliance, meeting and kind of group that's at large. And the power of that is inside of the group, right? So everybody brings something to the table. The Compliance Bootcamp is usually a little bit more intimate. And so there's usually some more kind of direct one-on-one interaction inside of that. But having Patrick Shagru and Brett and Paul and Gordon Goldie and the folks from Grant Thornton, right? Having them be there, right? To where we can get answers in real time. If there's something that I don't know, but I'm like, hey, listen, I think that could be an issue for you. Let's talk to the expert over here. And that's, I mean, it is unbelievable how valuable that is. And so I'm excited about doing that. I mean, that's valuable for me because I can get my questions answered really fast that way too. And so I'm just excited about having this collective brain power in a room. And it's amazing what happens when you get together enough like-minded people who are passionate about what they do. That's the thing I love about Puerto Rico. I heard somebody tell me one time after I went down there and I went to like a networking thing, they said, the greatest thing about Puerto Rico is that it's like freshman year for millionaires, right?
I brought that up right in the beginning of this conversation, like
Anyhow,
right
so
before you
I
got
won't
here.
recite that, but yeah, so I and that's what I'm super stoked about, right? Is that all right? So we are like, so this is like the DECA club, right? Your freshman year of college, where you've got all these superstars, right, in one room, and it's amazing what comes out of that. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really excited about it.
Thanks. I mean, it's always a pleasure working with you, man, collaborating on these types of things. And I'm excited to like create this format that we've been dreaming up for really a year, right? Like when we had our first event, it was like, man, it would be really cool if we were able to do this, and we're doing it. And so let me, I'm going to take just,
Kudos to everybody on the team that's been part of executing that. I got,
yes,
it's
exactly.
been fantastic. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And everyone here can get a chance to experience it. So I'm going to have, I want to just talk a little bit about I talked a little bit about the format. Emily, if you could drop in a link, we put together a landing page so you can see some of the speakers and the time frames, and so we are selling tickets to this. And if you, I see like Krista said in the chat she wanted to hear more hotel opportunities and funds. Like this is your chance to like not just hear about it but see it, touch it, quite literally. And Jonah, like we wanted to make this available. The ticket price includes the 4 days, the bus tour, the venues, that we're booking hotel room blocks, and so we'll be in one location together. Like you said, Ashley, it's just like it's a brain trust, right? It's an energy, and Deb said the same thing. It's like so vibrant, and so we're gonna do anybody who's on this call that wants to register. We'll do 10% off code. Just make sure that you get contact Emily. Emily, if you can drop your email in there too, that would be great. So that people can email if they're interested. And we've got about this is a small event, right? We've got 55 seats on the bus, and so that's our max capacity. And we've got people on our team and a couple of comp tickets. So we're really more like at 30-ish tickets left.
By
In
the way,
fact,
that's a big bus. 55 people on a bus. That's a big
yeah,
bus.
and we're gonna be very like comfortable together, right? Like I might be sitting like very close to Ashley.
I was going to say, you're not sitting on my lap, dude.
No, I'm not
I,
gonna go there.
I,
We're good
that
friends,
crosses
but
the line.
yeah. So yeah, so Jonas says it's party bus. This is like a big like Greyhound style, seated bus, because we're gonna be touring the west side of the island. So yeah, it's people are saying rent a second one, right? This is part of the value of being close together, because over the course of 3 days, you really get to meet everybody, right? I mean, and I mean that. So it's just very connected. It's very cool. It's very different. There's conferences out there. There's OZ conferences. They're very conventional in the sense that there's a lot of people in presentations. Like we did everything we could to make this intimate, and part of that is because of COVID. When we first did this, we had to be limited, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, this actually is pretty cool and makes a lot of sense. So, so if people are interested, they can contact us. Osworks group members get 10%. If you've been a client of OZ Pros, you get 10% off. But we're gonna start promoting this thing. You're just the first to get to know it. So if you're interested, participate, get connected, get your ticket, and let us know how we can support you. That's what it's designed for. So I want to thank everybody who came here today, who participated. We'll follow up with some emails. We'll have resources from Grant Thornton slide deck to links. And yeah, it's like now the chat's getting fired up.